What is up everybody? The PU is back, and back for good. New region means that the PU land is also a bit different than the one we used to explore in Black 2 and White 2, but the idea remains the same, and seeing House of Wolves as my opponent, it goes without saying, you're gonna be entertained. But first things first, huge thanks and shoutout to Beat2J135 for recording this and the upcoming battles on his capture card. You can immediately notice the improvement in quality, and he has to be one of the most patient people I have met. I am not gonna go into details, but let's just say he helped me out. A lot. All I can do in return is leave the link to his channel in the description and ask you guys nicely to go pay him a visit and either subscribe if you like his content, or at least leave a like under one of his videos to reward him for his work, because unfortunately, even though I want to, I can't do this more than once. Now, let's get into the actual battle. On my side there are remains of Evolution's team, which has fallen apart since Flareon went up one tier and Leafeon got lost somewhere in transferring process, so I have replaced them with Pyroar and Remoraid respectively. The things that survived from original team are physically defensive Stealth Spin Sandshrew, specially defensive Wish Pass Hypno, Specs Glaceon upgraded with Frost Breath, which can be a lifesaver against some Coal Minders, and last but not least, the star of the team, Effie. What does that mean? You will find out soon enough. Meanwhile, Mark has brought surprisingly common pokes for his standards, but that most likely means that at least one of them is not running the moveset you would expect it to. Let's just leave it at that and get into it. I lead with Glaceon, predicting a Torterra to be his lead, because not only it can be potentially a Stealth Rocker on his team, but it can also 2-hit KO my Sandshrew with a Wood Hammer if I tried setting up rocks of my own. He either in turn predicts that, or chooses Beedrill for his lead just to gain momentum with U-turn, and the amount it does to Glaceon, which has pretty good natural bulk, tells me that he is Choice Bandit, which already is not something that I would have expected. He goes to Grumpig to take my obvious Ice Beam, and then pulls off a double switch to Mr. Mime as I go to Hypno to take a Status or a Psychic. Then I protect to find out if he is carrying a Shadow Ball, but he goes for a Dazzling Gleam, meaning that he can't really touch me. So knowing that he is probably gonna switch out, realizing that, I go for a Toxic and catch his Grumpig on the switch, which is certainly helpful as I don't really have anything that could break through this thing without setup, and therefore residual damage is my best bet. Right now he reveals a Signal Beam, but it does laughable damage to Hypno and I get off a whip nearly for free. But instead of stalling him out, I decide to pass it to Glaceon, knowing that the moment Grumpig is gone, it's gonna deal some heavy damage to Mark's team. He goes for a Thunder Wave on my switch, which is not that big of a deal since most of his team outspeeds me anyway. Then I try to make a smart play and use a Baton Pass predicting his switch to get a favorable matchup, but he reveals his last move is a Heal Bell, meaning that he isn't going anywhere. So I bring my Hypno again, but this time go for a Seismic Toss predicting him to switch to Beedrill predicting my Toxic and get off a solid chunk on the switch. Then I switch to Sandshrew to take a U-turn, but he locks himself on X-Scissor instead, so I get an opportunity to set up a Stealth Rock and still can take him out with an Earthquake before he does. I have a better plan though and switch to Pyroar, which is running quite unique physical attacker set with Flame Charge and Moxie, so his Beedrill can give me an easy boost in both attack and speed. On the same turn he switches to Torterra to take an Earthquake from Sandshrew, but unaware of my Pyroar set, he obviously won't risk taking a Fire Blast to the face. Knowing that, I go for a Crunch predicting his Grumpig, which can take Fire Blasts from regular Pyroar for days. For some reason he decides to switch to his Mr. Mime though. I'm guessing he sees no use in it, and although Crunch is only neutral against him, I get a random crit, but even with Adamant Nature, Pyroar still outspeeds Mr. Mime, so all it changes is that I can finish him off with a Flame Charge rather than return and get a +1 speed along with +1 attack, while looking really cool, and that's what I like about this set. All it requires is a weekend poke that can be taken out with a Flame Charge and you are set to sweep. Anyways, realizing that with +1 speed I outspeed everything on his team, he brings his Torterra, which as I find out right now is physically defensive, and here is the main problem with this set. It's the same problem Flareon was suffering for the past 5 generations. If only Pyroar could learn Flare Blitz, it would have been game over right here, but because the best move I can hit him with is a return, he takes it without a problem and revenge kills me with an Earthquake. So now I bring my Remoraid to scare him off with an Ice Beam, and then double switch to Sandshrew predicting his Grumpig to knock off his leftovers, but once again he destroys my plan by just staying in, gets up his own rocks for free, and then takes me out with a Wood Hammer before I spin them. It's one of these cases where over-predicting has worse consequences than not predicting at all. So by now I have decided to stop trying too hard, go right back to Remoraid and destroy him with an Ice Beam. He goes to his own Pyroar, and with Hypno at nearly full health I have no reason to stay in, but he knows that as well and sets up a Sunny Day using a free turn. Still, Hypno proves worthy of a special wall, and Sun boosted Flamethrower does only barely over half, meaning that I am at a better position in the longer run. Realizing that, he makes a smart move and switches to Simipour, which gets me thinking, the sun is up, what could he possibly do to me? So I stay in and protect to find out. He uses that to set up a free Hone Claws, and that makes my heart drop, because suddenly, after Stealth Rock's Glaceon dies to a superpower, Remoraid and Hypno die to Crunch, the only possible way of winning this battle is FE. You see, FE stands for Endure, Flail, Adaptability, EV, which is my own set that I haven't seen elsewhere, and it used to be the icon of my Evolutions team. FE is the kind of performer that either runs the whole show or doesn't do anything at all, so let's see how he's gonna do today. Step 1. Endure predicting an attack and live with 1 HP. Check. Step 2. Get a Salakberry boost. Check. Step 3. Nyan Eevee. And that is FE in a nutshell. Good game, Mark, you have almost had the game in the bag, and then my Eevee stepped in and stole the show. I would imagine not many people get to say that, and that's what's so great about PU. The most unusual sets are often the most effective. That I think was a great battle to start off a brand new PU marathon, run mostly by me and Mark, but hopefully I will get to squeeze battles against other people in there. It's mostly up to you, I am almost always eager for a PU battle. Anyways, remember to leave a like and comment if you enjoyed the video, and as always, I see you all next time.